I'm using YouTube to record myself handwrite the Bible while I'm putting pictures of my dog and pictures of the Great Fire of London and whatnot as I handwrite my Bible. By doing this, I found out that the King James Version of the Bible is a 100% apocryphal Bible. So by doing this, I found that the King James Version of the Bible, being 100% apocryphal, contained a significantly different hidden message. Thanks for joining. So this is the significantly different message since you joined the, where was I? Over here. Let's see. Of course, when did man invent writing? But here we're in 1946. I'm teaching you. The teenage shepherds accidentally stumbled upon the first set of the Dead Sea Scrolls. Accidentally, yeah, sure. It was an accident, and in the late 1946. So you have late 1946 or 1947, immediately after World War II. So here, where this was provided from the Nazi Holocaust, right here, 1946, the Nazi Holocaust, the death of the Jews. Sorry, guys, yeah, we did that to you, but you deserved it, I guess, for letting America have the Bible is what happened. And so here, they found for America to understand that they're in hell with that just the ancient settlement of Qumran, located on the northwest shore of the Dead Sea. Now, don't go over there. Look at pretty pictures, pretty pictures. So, the West Bank, Gaza. So, 2013, pretty pictures. So, 1947 through to the year 2020, you've done nothing with these things. These things are. These things are these things are mine now to explain to you that I am Ben David and I'm using this record to close it and collapse all of the churches around me. You guys don't have scripture. You guys don't understand the Bible. You guys don't understand a single word in the Bible because you followed a legend of the person moving those books into those caves. You called him a Messiah. You called him, I should pray to you. You called him, your cult is actually what happened. Your cult, you followed a false Messiah who moved the Dead Sea Scrolls into those caves. Jesus did that. Jesus worked with Titus in order to collapse the temple. Jesus worked with Titus, a 1,000-year wandering Jew, which he wandered through your brains. Jesus did that in order that you would be plinked out as cult organization Baptists. You cult organizations, you follow a false Messiah. Baptist. Of course you follow a false Messiah. You listen to your teachers. You told you not to. You don't understand this book. All of your teachers are cult teachers. Jimmy Swaggart's a cult singer. He's just I can't figure out what millennium it is. That's shame on you, Jimmy. I can't figure out what fucking millennium it is. Shame on you, Jimmy Swaggart. Shame. You are an immoral, incompetent. All of you pastors, all of you are just stupid, immoral incompetence. Go write your hand right from Deuteronomy 34:10. 1300s, the Renaissance. You're a bunch of immoral, incompetent Renaissance retards, is what you're all. You're all just stupid. The average age your bleeding girls got reached Minerchi back then, you fucking retards. The average age 12.5 anecdotally because you are so immorally incompetent. Magic poofing pastors, immoral incompetent magic poofing pastors, magic poof. You're so immoral incompetent, your children are bleeding. Can't look at reality. I gotta break them and have them watch TV. I can put them. You fucking immoral incompetence. All of you. Can't figure out the ancestral origin of writing over on that magic poofing, stupid, immoral, incompetent cult website? Fuck. What do you think you're gathering around telling you? 2 Timothy 4:3-4. Gee, I wonder what the magic poof is. So in Washington State, where I have legitimate doctoral considerations for you magic poofers, the Toppenish Indian Bible Church, it's handwritten, never going to teach anything from that facility again by that fucking magic poof moron, is what I'm writing. Taking the Bible away from you, magic poofing morons, putting it into his magic poof moronic Bible church and collapsing it with his magic poofing doesn't understand a word. The magic poof you can't figure out when it was written down in legend. Bible. It's entirely Bible. Entirely legend. Stumbled upon the first set of Dead Sea Scrolls in 1947. 1947, you retained a 6,000 year legend from when? 1907, 1909. Who was voting during that time? How many of you were making good, wise decisions? Well, I'll tell you what, there's not one single retard voting who has any wisdom on either side of magic poof 6,000 year hallucination stupid. You got a cult over there. Your church, your Bible is invalid. There's not one of you voting for anything wise. Fuck. Before you vote, you should actually read Leviticus and understand by having written it a few times, Proverbs, of reading it every day with your children, have it in their education systems. You got this legend out of their education systems because you're so immorally incompetent pastors. Your children have a faulty, fucked up education systems because you pastors are too immoral and incompetent to accept you're wrong about your Bible being invalid entirely. So give me a second while I grab some tobacco. My tobacco is growing nicely. Okay. It began with the Dead Scrolls. That is your legal, legitimate cult members' bad subtraction. Torah was the Dead Sea Scrolls. Second Temple was the Dead Sea Scrolls. You were supposed to. How did I form into a cult from getting a cherry picked nothing, fragmented into a legend of a false Messiah? How'd you get it? You got a false cult. That's how. You couldn't keep track of your Dead Sea Scrolls. Welcome to Thelema. 1904. So in 1904, we already had Thelema. So I'll put 1904 kind of one reading. He doesn't get any of that. He's just a moron. 1904. So 1996 data works just fine. Look at the legitimate age of the earth. There's nothing in the Bible but looking at the legitimate age of the earth. But looking at the legitimate age of the earth. There's nothing in here. Don't follow a legend. And he went out from there and came into his own country, and his disciples follow him. So he followed a legend. And when the Sabbath day was come, he began to teach them. So he followed a legend with bad date stamping. In the synagogue followed a legend with bad location stamping. And many hearing him were astonished, saying, From where hath this man these things? And what wisdom is this which is given unto him, that even such mighty works are through his hands? Is not this the carpenter, the son of Mary? And he was transporting the Dead Sea Scrolls out of the temple. I say, yeah. Carpenter, the brother of James and Joseph and of Judas. You got a name you can't keep track of very well. And Simon, and not his sisters with us. The 1610 inertial data his sisters. When his grandmother, his grandfather, way back when, what do you guys know about it? Who's his descendancy actually from? And they were offended at him. And Jesus said unto them, A prophet is not without honor, but in his own country and among his own kin and his own house. So here, 1610, the Americas are completely broken, guys. You guys are bleeding in Washington State. Your illegitimate Earth history has provided you an illegitimate science, an illegitimate record kept for your daughters, an illegitimate. You're all entirely illegitimized by having this cult, moronic cult, illegitimate cult in existence. Your Bible in existence in the year 2020 is an illegitimate apocryphal work with a 6,000 year. Can't figure out that they're wrong. Just got one thing wrong, like everything. So I got one thing wrong, got everything wrong. Of course, I got everything wrong. They kept the legend. How'd they get that book written down? I don't know. It's inspired. And Jimmy Swagger fucked with it and left in hell. I can't figure out the millennium. When did I evolve? I didn't evolve. Jimmy Swagger got that. It came out from there, and he could do no mighty work except, and he called unto them 12. Wow, we got 12. Yeah, Jimmy Swagger, you hang out with Jared and Ken On, you're a retard. You're a grade 8 moron, you stupid fucking retard. Pope, you too. Pope gave you an apocryphal Bible. You said you didn't want it, and then you couldn't figure out that the Earth's not 6,000 years of age. Pope gave you an apocryphal Bible. You couldn't figure it out, and you couldn't figure out that the Earth's not 6,000 years. One subtraction, one. Pope gave you an apocryphal Bible, and you couldn't figure out the illegitimate age of the Earth. You fucking retards! Pope gave you a fucking bad Bible. What did the Mormon cult do with it? They gave you a bad dispensation of Puritan bullshit. Mormons, knock it up. You're all worthless. Yeah, you are. You're a bunch of grade 8 senior elders who don't know that your children are supposed to be going out there. I'm sorry for breaking you for having this book and not distributing the King James version of the Bible because it's broken. It's a Captain Legend. You have an apocryphal cult prophet. Can't even. Joseph Smith was a true prophet. Revelation chapter 10. If you'd actually studied the prophecy, you know that. But if you'd done that, you'd figure out that you don't have a brain and you were just left in hell. But you didn't. At least I did. Don't have a brain. You have encephaly in the year 2020 and coronavirus because of that stupid cult breathing air. Timestamp. The year is 2020. God didn't magically poof 4004 BC. The Bible expired in the year 2000. The Bible itself expired at Newton. Made a deduction. Go back to his era. So 1904. Welcome to the OTO. And there's a lot of good data in here, such as your Bible's medieval. And it came with nothing other than that. Now watch me write it. It's not this carpenter. Jesus was a good man. Therefore, Herodias had a quarrel against him, and then things happened. And he swore unto her, and then he got rebuked. And they did eat of the loaves. There were 5,000 men, so you have a false date, false numerical coding. That's false. Probably 50. Probably 900 wives of Solomon. Yeah, fucking right. No wisdom in that. So probably 50. And they did eat at the loaves in about 5,000. Yeah? And straightway being constrained, his disciples to get into the boat and to go to the other side before him into Bethsaida while he sent away the people. Straightway, and you kept magic poofing, writing in the 6,000 years straight to hell. And when you sent them away, they departed in the mountain to pray. So that's what you're getting. Welcome to the OTO. And when evening was come into the boat, it's kind of a prayer. I don't correct you anymore. Pray. We don't figure out great apes didn't grow up to be Jimmy Swagger, which is saying they didn't. I know, but I'm saying he magically proved great apes stupid, and he alone owned that land. And He saw them toiling and rowing. Think of all your apocryphals, everything in print. Toiling, I can't figure out the millennium. So you're just following a legend. Spirit legend, immediate legend, good legend because you passed over. Good legend, you have a cherry picking conundrum of you're just morons. And ye permit him with no more to do anything, so Jesus cut you off. In those days, the multitude bearing great, having nothing to eat, Jesus went hungry, and Jesus went out and he left you. And they kept saying to themselves, questioning, so you just followed a legend, didn't check your pastors. Verily I say unto you, whoever shall not receive the kingdom of God is as a little child, he shall not enter into it. So you have to enter into the 16 minutes. That would be that one. 16:10. I was looking for the verse. That's what. Every time it says enter as a child, 16:10 inertial data, then let's do something. We'll work with the Book of Mormon and get isolated to look at what I'm looking at. Done this so many times. This is 100% apocryphal. You even have an apocryphal Wikipedia Bible. Wikipedia Bible. Apocryphal Wikipedia. Didn't know that one was there, did you? Yeah, of course you didn't know that one was there. Of course you didn't know. You're an apocryphal retard who creates apocryphon. Apocryphats. Apocryphat. Apocryphat. Need to do that. Did that. And I need to do that. Okay, I'll do that. Apocryphats. The Apocryphats. 1904. 1904. Why would I use the Great Fire of London data? Great Fire of London. 1611. Great Fire of London. 1666. Great Fire of London. September 2. 9 to not 4. 9 to 1666. 9 3 1666. 9 4 1666. 9 5 1666. 9 6 1666. This whole package, the silk hijab and the camel hair, John the Baptist fucked you over. He was wearing a camel hair shirt, and you're not even special enough to get a brown paper bag. He deserves a Jimmy Swagger. You kind of really need a don't cut holes in it. Tape a garbage bag over your head. According to this, so morally incompetent. Because in 9-4, you had the 1610 Monarchial data, of course, and that goes with the Monarchial data. My daughter, so we'll give you 1996. 1996. 1, which is my daughter. 1996, which is Kennewick Man, 9,200-year-old fossil remain, which is Australian Aboriginal. 2020 Australian Aboriginal 65,000 year presence. Let's do White Cliff or we'll just use some things. No, we'll do first for 9-2. How old is Stonehenge? Like that. Because welcome to the OTO. How old is Stonehenge? Never thought about it, huh? And how old is Stonehenge? Never thought about it, huh? You've never thought about 5,019, according to this. And this is 2020 data, so we'll take it. 2020, saying that 3,000, circa 3,000, so 5,019. 5,019 years. Circa 3,000 BC. Okay. 1581, birth of James Asher. Asher deduced October 23. James Asher deduced the 1611 King James Bible and the 6,000 year Earth deduction. It's an invalid deduction. It's a no dot invalid deduction. What was he thinking using the Bible to do that? Let's see if I can erase all Earth history. Let's use the Bible. Wrong. Yeah, what was he thinking? With an invalid deduction. So, 2020, 5,019, 3,000 BC. Yeah, what was Stonehenge? Prehistoric in England, 2 miles west of, and then we have radii. Construction started 3000 BC, and that is Enos, legendary Neolithic monuments using stones transported from Wales, built for unknown purposes. So let me give you the known purpose. This was Enos, and they had angelic help, as with all of the how they get the really big shit moved around in Egypt. They had angelic help building and constructing and getting everything perfect. The perfect alignment, the 500,000 ton walk. So you're part of the perfectly aligned. No angelic help. No angels in the Bible did that for you. And unclean spirits fell down before the angels in the Bible. Legendary Neolithic monument made using stones transported from Wales. Legendary Neolithic prehistoric. Well, this is not so legendary. This is you guys don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You're following a lot of legend. How old is Stonehenge and how was it built? Well, let me give you this 2018 magic proof grade 8. You got a cult over there. Over the next few hundred years, the stones were. You got it all wrong. It is a prehistoric monument. Good job. Most archaeologists got it wrong, so because they think great apes grew up to become Stonehenge builders. Facts, the mysteries, great apes, Stonehenge for kids. Hey kids, your mommy and daddy broke you. So how many years old is Stonehenge? Is older than the pyramids? It says 2018 grade 8 kids really curious about nothing. how old is it? Uh, Post-war British architectures. What is that? Post-war, quite typical. Work began on it immediately. There were, we see that. Oh, okay, sure. So then everyone thinks it is dates around 1800 BC, 5400, about 5400 years of age. The complex earthworks, barrows, pathways, and megaliths was built over a period of millennia. The oldest part, a long raised bank called Karsus, is thought to be about 5400 years of age. So yeah, 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 yeah. They didn't start burying bodies in them, and they were building structures and then burning up, and then it said, let's just keep the body here. Is where Enos came over. God was walking among them saying, hey, you can keep the body, there'll be a resurrection. He did that to them over there in Egypt. What do you think? They mummified. They had raw coming down, raw wheat, and coming down, and if you mummified, the oldest remains of Stonehenge dated back to 3000 years before Christ. Yeah. So why don't you use it fucking properly? They don't know Earth history. You got a cult over there. Is it a religious site? No, it's a memorial of what you got wrong in the Bible. How far off you are. Wow. So 3000 BC, legendary prehistoric Neolithic monuments. So the all of the Stonehenges, including your replicas, were just like little stupid brain farts. How'd you get it right? You had technology to get it right the second time. The first time, oh, angelic help, similar with the how'd you get it right? Megalithic. Uh, how'd you get it right? Yeah, an angelic help with your how'd you get it right? You fucking morons! How'd you get it right? How'd they build the Egyptian pyramids? While they were sitting there, they had, in some cases during they had like resident Buddha gods that just let's wake him up. Raw. Let's wake him up. He was a little resin, a little fat, little Buddha guy. Let's wake him up. Let's wake him up, and they'd have to be really careful, stumbling around. Be careful. Be careful. Don't annoy the God. So you took God out of the Bible, and then we have to squeeze what raw or great into your brain. It's like a sweet line of cocaine. Rahakui. So Jesus withdrew himself with his disciples and learned about Rahakui. They were going out. There's our temple is destroyed. He was working with them and discussing with them. He was a 1,000-year wandering rabbi and he went over there and he disappeared and nobody followed him because it was way back when and nobody really gave a shit. He was hiding from people. He's a masterful, like, I'm not really doing anything for you to observe unless you're observing the legitimacy of the story and how he was actually doing. Kids, you're way off. And unclean spirits, when they saw him, fell down. How and why? How and why? What did he do? How did he know? What did he do? You have no control over even your own mind. You're an unclean spirit. You invoke unclean spirituality and working and got questions to internet cult or sitting there and listening to your pulpit preacher preach a mystical fuck you sermon rather than you're sitting there, you're unclean, you're just a piece of shit. You are shit's running down your leg. You got the competency of a 1-year-old Baptist, you fucking morons. You are so far gone, fucking morons. Baptists, without correcting Jimmy Swagger for fucking with the King James Version of the Bible of all fucking things, Baptists, you fucking morons. You have shit running down your legs because of this. being wrong, thinking there's something else going. I got a book, the Bible. Nobody's ever seen God. We'll put God into it. What does it say to do in John 1:18? No one's ever seen God. No, that's prophecy. A moronic, stupid cult over there. A moronic, stupid preachers who think they know what the fuck they're talking about. You guys don't know. You're magic poof morons. All of you Baptists are just stupid, ignorant, magic poof morons. 6,000-year magic poof morons. All of you Baptists are stupid, 6,000-year earth magic poof morons. The Australian continent has been there for 65,000 years and a lot longer. So we have real people that don't need you magic poof morons. They just need somebody standing up against you magic poof morons, stupids. You don't even know Australia's been there for 65,000 years. That one's magic poof stupids. So thankfully God gave us Neolithic monuments. So on 9/2, 1666, God saying fuck you. In 9/3, 9/4, God saying fuck you to me. That's 9/4, 75 is actually my ex-wife's. So birthday 9/4, 1970. I'll put that for 1975. So I got to fill in everything with real legitimate dates. So 1966, we have a question mark. 9/4/75, confirmation, 16 years of age. Confirmation, 16 year confirmed. She was about just a little younger. She was it was the 14 and a half, then it started to become regular at 16. So 14.5 to 16 years of age, the menarchal pattern. I'm ripping your blinding your eyes off of to look at Elizabeth Terrell. Elizabeth Terrell's menarchal pattern fed into this. This 6,000 year Elizabeth Terrell's menarchal pattern. She would have been on the lower end and probably around 16.6 years of age, 17th century data, with general fluctuations with part of your brain and skull missing in Washington State. This is a statistical job for a guy who can pull this one off. He's done this type of thing before. I wouldn't be doing this. Wasted 13 years to all of the books of the Bible, all of the verses around this information, around all of this. Your cult teacher is teaching you something without this, and they're just morons. They're teaching you be okay with your children bleeding and giving us all left and help marriage ceremony. So 2020, there's something in 9/3. That would be the 1996. 1996. Ryan Burgerback. Ryan in birth defects, Washington State doctors concerned. So 1996. Kennewick man. First. Neolithic monument. 1996. Rare birth defects still spiking. Rare birth defects still spiking. Washington. So 1996, April 22, 2014. 4/22, 2014. 4 No more buying or selling books. I'm using all of this data. This is an uncephaly. There's a series of you got this entire piece wrong. The distance in time these children are, it is your common ancestry. Duh. And one grade 8 medical records. You believed anything during the Neolithic exchange. You traded it for grade 8. Grade 8 legend. So real Talmudic scholars gathered around the teacher that told them whatever there is it's here. I'm trying to figure out, how did you guys not figure out that you went to cults? We'll believe anything. Australian Aboriginal. 65,000, so 422, 2015. Rare defects. (2020) encephaly. 2020 birth defects. You have these birth defects, Washington State, because you have a cult over there in Washington State, and the Earth's not 6,000 years of age. No soul factor. That's the soul factor. The fatal birth stalking. I'll come to you, doctors. You forgot about this one. 2016 investigation continued, but they don't understand what they proves they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. It's distance and time. 16. Just use this data to collapse your cults into when your magic proofing bastard tells you you don't have an illness and a disease and you should mate with your encephaly investigation morons. Lifestyle, food, and dining, you could probably drink some wine. The birth defects, you're all getting healthy. One small change could prevent. Yeah, close your cults. 2018. Learn legitimate Earth history. Learn. In 2018, you had opportunity. And so all of this data, he could have been keeping local data for his magic proofing cult to use, but it'll work quite well to close it. So it's kind of an at the end of the road cleanup project we're doing with this data right now, and this is why we're funneling. Know your Bible, 9-year school is why these grade 8 typing grade 8s don't understand how to utilize this data. They don't understand how to utilize this data to what am I being taught? What am I being taught wrong? Well, utilize. God magically pooped you 5,500 BC. It's grade apes. Yeah, you already. God magically poofed you into handwriting the Quran, which says you have heard of those who so broke the Sabbath, and you haven't because you're a magic proof grade 8 moron like Jimmy Swaggart. It was just a proof. Oh, Sunday, it's the Sabbath. You know, those magic proof morons over at the following a false cult, medieval Bible morons, and magic proof grade 8. Yeah, Mormon morons too. You guys, you magic proofers. The exact opposite with your own broken cosmogonies. The the exact opposite, looking each other in the eyes, and say, "What was I not taught? I should probably figure out where you're from before I ever even kiss you or get my dick wet in you." And when do you start to bleed, little girl? Think about it. Think about it, daddy. When do you start to bleed, little girls? Yeah, think about it, you moronic bastard. God magically poofed me in the bear matrix just left me in fucking Stupidville. I can't trust my own legends to get out of hell with. Give me your fucking Bible, you fucking morons. So, and he goeth up into a mountain and called it. And I feel pretty good using the get you out of hell thing. It's just us, But this has been 13 years that I'm not doing this shit, and I'm annoyed. It's just wasting millions of dollars just to take down the church I was baptized in. What a waste. What a waste. What a fucking waste. Take down the church I was baptized in because I witnessed him. The magic proof. Yeah, I know you're wrong. Darren's sermon. I even walked out laughing a couple of times when he was. He's such a moron. Dude, sit your ass down. You're an ugly. Magic proof moron. No posture, no sensibility, no. This is stupid. Grade 8 fire London. Set fire by Golem. Golem did it. We'll blame Golem. Golem did it. Kept really bad. Golemic record coming from YouTube and Wikipedia. Golemic record. Be careful. God magically proved you to grade apes. The death of James Escher. So James Escher died. You needed more information on that, but what really happened was in the late 1946 or 47, boy twins shepherds found the Dead Sea Scrolls. That's what really happened. So in 1904, you were provided you'll get me saying welcome to the OTO. Great Fire of London. How old is Stone? Welcome to the OTO. Do you know the history of Stonehenge? 9/2/1666. So no, you didn't, because you didn't know that the Great Fire of London happened in the year 1666. Stonehenge is approximately 520 years of age, and it was written around built around 3000 BC by angels and with help, and it's a legendary prehistoric location at Enos, where you could have figured that out if you understood Kennewick Man. 9,200-year-old fossil remain was take a better look at the Egyptian monuments. Prehistoric Egypt. So the prehistory of Egypt spans the period from the earliest human settlement to the beginning of the early dynastic period around 3100 BC. So, in date 3100 BC. They kept it in the dynastic period. So you have 900 years of data right here with this really because of that data, because you can't see the legitimacy of the age of the earth. This data is bad. In date 3100 BC, 900 years immediate reception of writing, and yes, they did get immediate reception of writing. Angels moved albinos from Adam and Eve into Egypt, and yes, that's why that reunification came about. That's why Egypt got this change here at 3100 BC when they got writing. You have Ancephaly in Washington State because you didn't know that. 3100 BC. 1611 King James Bible, encephalic artifacts, prehistoric Egypt. So this is 2020 Egypt compared with 2020 prehistoric Egypt. You guys did not receive an education. I've always suspected that. There's not one person in the world that has an appropriate biblical education. I suspected that. Following a single medieval entirely into you learn the wrong legend. You didn't learn how to turn yourselves off. You didn't know how to arrest cults, so you made what up a cult your own selves, and you called the other cults, and they just we both say Jesus. The Jehovah's Witnesses say Jesus, but we'll go to they're weird. Their store is closed on Saturday. Why is that? Wait a moment. I'll be right back. I can do that too. Yeah, I could really do that one. That would really makes sense. Here it goes. It goes right there for that. There. Gosh. it's falling apart. I'm still on. Sorry about that. Oh, I totally forgot. The what have I been doing? 1300s to 1600s. What was I thinking about doing? The Book of the Law, Subfigura CCXX, Hod, the Manifestation in Nuit. This is important. The unveiling of the company of heaven. Hod, the manifestation in Nuit. Grandpa Seth. Every man and every woman is a star. Every number is infinite. There is no difference. Help me, warrior lords of thieves, in my unveiling before children of men. That's You Were Left in Hell gets with a really, really, really immature thing to clean up. And here to clean up, be thou hadit, not had it, my secret center, my heart and my tongue. I'll make better sense out of this. Behold, it is revealed by Iowas. Again, be thou hadit, Iowas, the minister, or Parkraat. Don't fuck with the names. The coup is in the cob. Coup, not the coup, not the in the cobs. So don't fuck with the names. Worship then the cobs, and behold my light shed over you. Let my servants be few in secret. They shall rule the many and the known. That's always been there. These are the fools that men adore, so you got it on both sides. It's really just flat earth legend, young earth retention. And this took area in Germany. Both their gods and their men are fools, so they kept going. Come forth, O children under the stars, and take your fill up. So they were sitting there. Let's go be good little mystics and and catapult into persecution. I'm above you, and in you my ecstasy and yours. So there, when Hitler was doing his thing, my joy is to see your joy. Above the Jim Dizer is the naked splendor and Nui. So earlier we were discussing the obvious with the little Buddha guy that we were saw how the construction of the temple unification of Egypt, of those monuments, there they had help. They had in, out, up, down, left, right, around. God made water come from a walk. We saw them walking around. They're called watchers. They had a little Buddha guy helping them, and they set up a shrine. They said, how long was he there? Until he died off. Type Dilly, I'm done with you. And he was annoyed. He's like, okay, stop. You, okay, and then he made them work. and gave them assignments. And hey, you guys be fruitful, be multiply, and I'll help you have food and things like that. So the control of the Nile River flooding and all. They had a little God guy there, a little Buddha guy there who did that for them. And they built in those shrines. So the shrine built there in Egypt for the little Buddha God guy is he was moving those things around, and they were doing all that labor. However, then you have the construction with we pull us back into Egyptology, and proper paleontology and proper logic. Let's look at our books again. So here the fall, 1600s Renaissance era. That's what I've really been working on. All of our inertial data. Egypt, how did you do? Egypt, we know Egypt, Neolithic Egypt. Let's give AD 66 to 70. When was the Book of Mark written? Uh, the apocryphal Book of Mark was written exactly on site before it was canonized. So before it was canonized, uh, and before we derived Bible church cults, Lutheran church cults, Seventh-day Adventist cults, Messianic, Pauline cults, Pauline lazy Torah understanding without Pauline legend of foolishness cults, dating cult Christian church, mating cult Catholic Church, 66 books, 75 books, Redemptive Orthodox Observation Cult, 81 books, Ethiopic Tawahedo. And look at these guys. This is where your Episcopalian Ethiopic Tawahedo orthodoxy needs a transition. That's one for us to really look at. False news. This came true through. It came true. Yeah, it came true by observation of the false Lutheran. You guys are just lucid in observation of it. You're doing the same fucking thing. 1947 Dead Sea Scrolls. Take a look at real Earth history. We have 1947. You guys are so morally ignorant at that era. We have a false history of socialism. So here you have a false history of World War One. You have a false history of the Third World Reich. You have a false history of the Catholic Church. You have a false history of World War II. You have a false history of Stonehenge. You have a false history of 6,000 Year Earth Legend, 1671. The Bible retention of 6,000 Year Earth Legend, 6,000 Year Earth Biblical Interpretation, false history. 6,000 Year Legends of Instruction. So here's all your doctrines, all your doctrine. So everything in print became later has the name Jesus. I suppose we're Christian. So you have item 1, 6,000 Year Earth Legends of Instruction. Item 3, 6,000 Year Earth Legend of two Messiahs. You have the Bible contained two Messiahs, a different parallel universe Messiahs. 6,000 Year Earth Legend of the Cult Dispensation, because parallel universe first Messiah was not leaving record for you to interpret that he was false parallel universe, occult dispensation over false Messiah, true Messiah in the year 2020 for turning off the cult. 6,000 Year Earth Legend, destruction of Jerusalem temple. So in this nasty 6,000 Year Earth Legend of the destruction of the Jerusalem temple, you receive the capping of the dome of the rock. So you received the capping of the Dome of the Rock, and you were provided it through your 1976 New American New Testament piece of Apocrypha. My children. This is a 1907 Apocryphal. 1611 King Apocryphal King James. I'm sure glad I wasn't really playing with myself or something. 1976 in 1611. It had the 1666 subtraction, which we've been going through. 75 books of Apocrypha. So that meant it was an apocryphal legend. The whole canonization process right there. 66 books reduction. Baptized, right? 1986, we should have had that one caught. 1986, you had between 1976 and 1986 to recover your Baptist organizations in, and you didn't. So here between 1977 and 1987, you had everything you needed to observe that the earth was older than 6,000 years of age. And science was just beginning to understand this, just beginning to understand that. And so that just beginning to understand in 1987, here 1610, the inertial data yet again. It's all throughout this book. You had the coronavirus 2020 because of that, because your 1997 stupidity of having a 1999 got questions.stupid cult there with an apocryphal interpretation of the Bible. This came true in 2020 through 2017, which it just, with all of the data, real Earth history, you went to fuck you. 99, you could fuck you. 98, could fuck you. 97, right in there. You were fucked. 1996, 1610 comparison of record, you were fucked after having worked beginning in 2007, 2020, I feel perfectly confident in saying by 2018 you were completely fucked. And it was during the first 3 years that I was working on this that Jesus was an imposter of 6,000 year legend at the end. I had no idea that's where I'd end up. However, where we're at is the 2020 pulpit 6,000 year performance with the apocryphal union of illegitimate teaching, illegitimate story, record kept as legend, record kept for demonic, kept as legend. Demonic, immoral, sermonics. I want that ended. Human. When did you evolve writing? Be real. Human evolution. 2020. When did man, quote unquote, invent writing? We're being real. 3200 BC. We're back to being real. It was invented in 800 years after Adam and Eve were expelled. So it wasn't invented. You have a false 6,000 year legend of the evolution of writing. Writing, cult members. You have a false Messiah ben Yosef, true Messiah ben David. 2017 observation 34, Deuteronomy 34:10, just a complete and total ignorance of time, ignorance of relationships, ignorance of the proper use of the Bible. God, Moses face to face, ignorant, foolish, ignorant. Exodus 33:11, smug, arrogant, stupid, pulpit preaching ignorance, can't see God face to face. False 6,000 year Baptist James Escher deduction cults. Cult. You can't see God face to face. He's not in your books. That took a observation. So this is a finale through the 6,000 year legends. I'm so angry at you morons. King James redaction is just 1,000% illegitimate. It only contained a 6,000 year legend. Turn you off. It's a 2020 illegitimate ancestral history. You have an illegitimate origin of phonetic script. You have an illegitimate 2020 history of writing. You have a 2020 25% illegitimate 6,000 year Earth legend. Life science, great. Evolution authorship, illegitimate authorship over at Life Science. Thanks for keeping my fossil records. Fossil record. You have an illegitimate fossil record kept. Got questions on 6,000 year of magic proof more on their illegitimate authors because with that apocryphal King James version of the Bible, it's just completely invalid. 6,000 year authorship, 1611 King James version of the Bible, beginning of the gospel of Jesus Christ, true false Messiah, Jesus the Son of God. It is written in the prophets, behold, false true Messiah, Yeshua, I send a messenger before your face, who shall prepare before thee. That was written on site. Jesus himself wrote that. An anonymous author in 1610 claimed that the the peasant girls of the country in Austria menstruated much later than the daughters in the townsfolk and aristocracy in 1610. So in 1610, peasant girls weren't bleeding until later, and the we were there at the lower end at 16.6 years. So putting the peasant girls to Grandma Eve, had Grandma Eve's genome fuck with them, your peasant girls, I just start to bleed with you have a false authorship and false reduction, falsely authorized is not authorized as 1611. King James Version is a piece of apocrypha. King James Version is a false authority to be used for preaching. 2020 false religions with 6,000 year book of 1611 false transcription of apocrypha King version of the Bible. 2020 Bible 2020 false format false legend use of 6,000 year for false legend of a sermon. The Sermon on the Mount is the brain dead when it's not. When I saw the multitudes, I left you and said, fuck you. New English Bible with Apocrypha, Deuteronomy 34:10. You took that verse out of the Bible, you couldn't see it really. There was never arisen a prophet in Israel like Moses, whom the Lord knew face to face. It's not very hard to tell that that was the obituary of Moses, where face to face again we have 1916, 1970, provided us 1946, the General Assembly of the Church in Scotland. James Lesher deduced that this earth reduced to 6,000 year earth length at time provided 6,000 year deductive legend of all of the Apocrypha, all of it. Every single part of it is the 1,000% attributes of the false Messiah. It's why I'm explaining to you this silken camel hair hijab. Why I'm explaining to you in hell. Dead Sea Scrolls, 6,000 year legend, 2020 coronavirus, Neolithic legend. You can't understand your Neolithic history. Of course, you can't tell where coronavirus came from. 6,000 year immaturity. That's your stupid, immoral, ignorant cult members, false messiah. Can't tell where in coronavirus come. Well, albino male, gee, yeah. The immediacy of the legend, you stupid morons. The Renaissance era is 1300, 1600. It's an anonymous. We've gone through that. The Victorian eras represented the downward slope in the age of first periods from when you just began to keep record. And you had some anonymous author say, hey, 16.6 years, but not give you much data. However, it's in the Bible, and it's the blood of your girls. So in 1860, the blood of your girls, the average age of menarche among European women in 1860 was 16.6 years of age. 1901, the 14, 2015, we're looking at 13 to 10, 2010, we're looking at 10 to 7. When are you going to, children are going to start bleeding at 5 years of age in probably 250 years. So, probably 250 years, you'll be down Menarche. Jimmy, that's how wrong you are, dude. Probably, and I've got part of your brain and skull. You're probably is going to start bleeding here in 250 years. That probably you got magically poofed 6,000 years. Moron, ignorant in hell, teachers of hell. Yes, Jimmy Slaughter. you are a moron. You fucked with the Bible. You couldn't actually figure out what it said. It's a hard book, I guess. It's an apocryphal. It had to be Mormon. They haven't figured it out yet. So Deuteronomy 34:10 had to be Mormon, and there arose not a prophet in Israel like unto Moses, whom the Lord knew face to face. Boom, had to be Mormon. Into the apocryphal obituary of Moses written by Joshua, the legitimate scribe. Joshua was writing Moses' obituary, which is kind of saying here now. Exodus 33:11, and the Lord spoke unto Moses face to face as a man speaks to his friend, and he died at 120 years, and nobody knows where they buried him. And they turned again into the camp, and his servant Joshua the son of Nun, a young man, departed not out of the tabernacle. So you took God out of the Bible through your misinterpretation. And literally departed out of the story. Into the apocryphal account of witnesses of authorship. Torah, the instruction of God, provided face to face, in which both Moses and Joshua participated in keeping legitimate records. So here we're recording ourselves keeping a legitimate record with lost scribal frequency. You kept a 6,000 year magic proofing legend over there. Illegitimate allusions to false legend of Torah authorship. Genesis, first book of Moses. So I was kind of fiddling right here. I'm going to leave it. Genesis, the first book of Moses. Exodus, the second book of Moses. Leviticus, the third book of Moses. Numbers, the fourth book of Moses. Deuteronomy, the fifth book of Moses. The sixth book of Moses, the seventh book of Moses. What do you do with that? You go over and study Yakuba. 2008, the first years of medical records. Good job, go study Cuba. Were kept on that was during the Cold War. On the onset of age menstruation, saw continuous drops between 1850 and 1950. So nothing you'll find in Cuba is documentation on that, but you'll see a bunch of not used. You're fertile with average age of 17 to 13. The sixth and seventh books of Moses now sounds a little more interesting, doesn't it? On the eighth, they were allegedly in their supposed stupid magical text. What do you mean by magical? Oh, we wrote it down. What do you think magic is? In sixth and seventh books of Moses in 18th or 19th century that allegedly to have been written by Moses and passed down as hidden books of the Bible. Oops, and that's what happened. And so 6,000 years, the guy moved his compassions and put forth his hand and regarded all the apocrypha. So 2020 birth defects made a lot better sense to you, and you accepted you have ancephaly. Welcome to the OTO. The history of writing scripture of phonetic writing. Welcome to the OTO. 3200 BC. The 1611 King James Bible. Welcome to the OTO. And the 6,000 year deductions. Reason to bring that Bible out of print. 2020 100% apocryphal translations. 2020 how long has the Bible been in print? 1581 birth of James Escher. Well, here we have an Australian Aboriginal to account for. They've been in Australia for 60,000 years. And in 1656, the death that James Escher provided you in 1996 to look for me to come take the Bible from you. In the late 1946 or 1947, Bedouin shepherds found the Dead Sea Scrolls. They went out, they found it. They stumbled upon the first set of the Dead Sea Scrolls. What were they doing? Probably not caring if the earth was 6,000 years of age or older. 1904, 2020, Ancient History Encyclopedia noted writing began 3,500 to 3,000 BC. That is when the script began, it is, but it's not when that phonetic script, but not when pictogram, cave painting, and you can't translate that. 1666, not being able to translate cave painting as shit that's, art on the wall. 1666, the Great Fire of London. Just ask yourself, how old is Stonehenge? And welcome, meet Grandpa Seth. 2009 to 1666. Welcome to the OTO. It's 5,019 years of age. So approximately 3,000 years. And yes, that does represent Enos. And 9/3/1666, Grandpa Seth was not buried, he was burned. But in 1996, Kennewick Man appeared. And Kennewick Man in 1996, Grandpa Seth was burned. 9,200-year-old fossil remains. Sorry, they buried this and had the debate rather than burning it like his ancestral origins would have preferred. And it being burned on 9/4/1666, that collated perfectly with 9/4/1975, which just happens to be ex-wife's birthday, and her Baptist, Free Will Baptist, everyone Baptist. I'm Ben David Dick. You get the Bible from y'all. Yeah, Moral Baptist, ball, but they're in Oklahoma. You're all stupid. Yeah, I watch your kids putting binoc in their eyes. They're all stupid, and your education sucked. I was down there for a year. Didn't learn a thing. I was had nothing better to do. I was trying not to drop out of that, and the calculus. Uh, the teacher was a mechanic, at a Harley shop around London, and he knew calculus, but he didn't know how to teach. One of the girls kept dripping a binoc in her eyes, but that's as smart as Jimmy Swagger dripping a binoc in her eye. And he's just a waffling hippie and teaching calculus. Waffling hippie teaching calculus. In Oklahoma. And so Jimmy Swagger stayed away from him. Waffling it. He was cool. I learned a lot from him, such as how to watch a girl drop a knock in her eye, and if not really ignored. We didn't learn anything. We got through 3 pages before I dropped out of that school. Seriously, they got through 3 pages. I did the whole book in a weekend because I was bored, and did it a couple times. So I finally left. So compared with the 2020 prehistory of Egypt, you guys don't know jack shit. The prehistory of Egypt spanned from the earliest human settlements at the beginning of the early dynastic period, which began 3100 BC when they got writing and they got the technology, and the little gods that were you have writing now. The little gods that they were serving before, they kind of departed as the other thems from the Garden of Eden came down, and God was moving them all around. You will never be able to determine where albino Adam and Eve intermarried. You will never be able to determine. You have to go back to Seth. You have to trust me and understand. I am actually legitimately 6,000 years away from Seth. Then this is in Washington State, legitimates are, hey, Jimmy Swagger's legitimate 6,000 year away, not from Seth, but 9,000 years away from something ignorant and stupid over in built the Neolithics that you ignore over in England, and made it over on a flatter, stupid Earth, and grew up to become Jimmy Swagger, and stupid like what's his name, Swagger, and what's his stupid Darwin. He's a moron. Good, yeah, look at then all of you stupid Darwinian evolutionists go, yeah, everything evolved because the Earth's older than 6,000 years of age, but it meant I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. And the Pharisees went forth straightway into council. How science was veiled as the cult 6,000 year cults, sermonic and demonic cults in hell. taught 6,000 year legend of history of the earth without having capacity to understand and accept the legitimate age of the earth. Through use of the 6,000 year cult sermons, through use of the 6,000 year cult New Testament Apocrypha, wrong. It's a magic proofing legend. Science and the scientific legends of prehistory through evolution, religion, and 6,000 year deduction of false teachers of 2020 cult religions. So that's kind of a no-brainer. What would you expect as a finally judge? Chapter 4, Mark, and began to teach, but he gathered unto them great multitudes. So let's keep going. 2020, the Bible, false 6,000 year deduction, apocryphal status, invalid 6,000 year deduction, obvious 2020 invalidation, Bible through. In order to provide data of the earth, it's an invalidation of the invalid deduction, just invalid book. The invalid Bible through it, valid Apocrypha, and invalid 6,000 year legend Bible. Stories for children, which is literally why I have Holy Bible stories for children in picture format. It's all, fucked up. Invalid authorship of human, invalid authorship through evolution, invalid authorship through legend. So none of it's good legend. The history of the illegitimate 6,000 year legend kept. Let's go back here and read from Jesus and Mark. And they came unto the other side of the sea. So we'll go back over here. The dating creation legends and myth is what you motherfuckers have. Writing 3200 BC, cuneiform, yes. That's legitimate. That's your transition. Regard for, I should spell that right. Where's my pen? Pictography. Syllabic. Pictography to syllabic script. 3,500 syllabic script. The 3,500 BC appearance of writing script. Can you sound out words? Can you hear them? Do you hear what you're writing? That's what that was. 3,500 BC did, when we then utilized our brains to sound out words and listen to ourselves tell us a legend written down in a neat printed book later. You don't need the book. 500-year Bible with 6,000 year illegitimate legend of use, and Bible 2020 false interpretation of Bible. Again, 3,200 BC cuneiform script provided that false interpretation of 27 books of Apocrypha. 27 books of Apocrypha. That was a neat find. That one took years. And I finally recognized the book I began with was an apocryphal. They took from 2000, and I had max 2000. I picked it up in 2017. I typed it when I had max in 2018. So you gave me the birthday of my dog. He was born on. That's a good number. No, 83. Birthday of my dog. Birthday of Maxwell Dioge. It was when you name your dog from mission distributing the Bible, and it just happens. Cool. You have to be careful. It had to do with the name of my dog. Help you understand the Quran a lot better. Looking for me transitions. You're in a hunting 27 books of animals rather than hunting together. So you get to pray towards God in the tent of meeting by saying in the name of Maxwell Diogenes, and then God might respond. Might. We'll see. He said he would, and Max is up there in Hitler's lap, and he's purring right now. Transition hunting and gathering, 6,000 years. This is a metallurgic exchange. The metallurgy, the physics and mathematics. Guys, you're breaking your children, but the physics and mathematics in this book are, you just have to know it. But it provides itself to you. But you have the Yeoman period to consider. The Yeoman period is a time in Japanese prehistory, traditionally dated between 14,000 and 3,000 BC. So the Yeoman period, they were real people, and you have something to learn about. Right now, I'm all ignorant Christians ignore all. We don't know where we magically shit our pants at. Let's see what Jesus said. Fuck you about. And when a convenient day was come, that Herod on his birthday made a supper for his lords, high captains, and chief men of Galilee. So that's like 99% of right there. You got everything wrong. So and they look up 12 baskets, and we'll just flip the page, and you see you don't need this book to understand that you're just wrong. And we're beyond measure astonished. You were just wrong, false Messiah. He hath done all things well. He maketh both the deaf to hear and the dumb to speak. That hasn't happened yet. So you were just wrong. You're deaf. You're dumb. And now you're speaking. Jesus is working. He's back into your lives, maybe. So Mark, thanks for writing this down. And he looked up and said, I see men like trees walking. Well, that's pretty cool. The history of the King James Bible transition era from 2020. You got fucked. 1400s John Wycliffe translation from Latin. 1526 William Tyndale. We have 1553, 1537 Cloverdale Bible. You got fucked. I have a couple of these. I don't have this one, Richard's 1539 Bible. The 1532, the Great 1532 through 1541 shows you the Great Bible. How long did it translate? The Geneva Bible I've got. The Bishop's Bible I don't have. The Douay-Rheims Bible I do have somewhere. But this is translated from the Latin Vulgate and Hebrew for some reason. I wrote that down. The Cloverdale, I think I got the Cloverdale. No, I don't have the Cloverdale. The Great Bible was consequently the first and only, take it back, the English Bible formally authorized for 6,000 years. That's your poofy. And they had it in their schools. They learned how to write off of this shit. 2020 King James, based on major revisions, were completed in 1716. I'm not learning to write on it. All earth history right there. Because Protestant churches did not regard the apocryphal books as one uniquely inspired. They're just not in my Bible. They're not in the Bible I didn't get from the Pope. They're not in the Bible I didn't get it from the Pope. Not in the Bible I didn't get from the Pope. They're not inspired. I shouldn't use them. Yeah, left you. Shouldn't use what the Pope didn't give you. Morons. We got a Magic Poop cult website in the year 2020. Now take the New Jerusalem version of the Bible from that fucking Magic Poop Pope who broke the internet with human evolution. Moron. Yeah, priest raping boys in your church, you moron. Pope. Got questions? Cult. Do your fucking job. You only have a week. Edition was the first edition of the King James Version that did not include the extra books ratified in 1562. Fucking moronic cult. So what did Jesus, fuck you over, Mark? They asked, saying, why say the scribes that Elijah must come first? Because he's not here and you got to memorize it. So the authorship of the book of Mark told you 2020 legend. 2020 dipshit, motherfucking stupid idiot, ignorant morons like that. Magic Proof Scholar, Swagger, fucking with the King James Version of the Bible, you moron. Retain that the book of Mark was probably written, you fucking moron, probably magically poofed too. 80, 66, or 70. 1976 American Study Bible. You're piece of shit country. 1977 New Testament Apocrypha. You fucking morons. But Jesus himself forbid him not, for there is no man who shall do a miracle in my name that can slightly speak evil of me. So you false Messiah, Ben David, apocryphal New Testament, used with 6,000-year legend, quote-unquote Messiah, attributes a true Messiah, Yeshua ben Yosef, Yeshua ben Yosef, true Messiah. Jesus, false Messiah. Jesus, not Ben David, not Ben David. Jesus, false Messiah, not Great Ape. Jesus, no. Jimmy Swaggart's a Great Ape moron. Jesus is not a true Messiah to you. You can fuck with the logos of Yeshua, though. I'll read one. And arose there and cometh the borders of Judea. So we'll go to the border. The Stone Age, the period of Earth history, is a broad fucking moron, Jimmy Swaggart, you stupid dipshit. Period during which stone was widely used. Wow, learn a little bit, you fucking dipshit morons, to make implements with an edge. No. Metallurgy be magically crapped out of your dipshit brains with science and writing. They point. Instead of doing shit like skinning a buffalo, which they did just fine without metallurgy, or a percussion surface, and they weren't carrying around rocks, they were all the period, the Hurston, where you're just stupid, ignorant, grade A morons, lasted a period of stupid biblical scholarship. Fucking moronic magic poof. Grade ape, stupid, ignorant, 6,000-year legend kept fucking moron. You too, all of you fucking Baptists, all of you fucking Mormons, all of you. You're all morons. Poor record kept of such scientific advancement, 34 million years. Fuck you, says Mark, and James is John, the son of Zebedee. Distance in time for your demonic, stupid, immoral misuse of biblical logos. 1581, 1656. James Escher, rest in peace, 1656. James Escher deduced. Why would you use the Bible for something so stupid as that? No, illegitimizing it by saying we can't use the science. You illegitimize. James Escher fully illegitimized this book for you to even think the earth is 6,000 years of age. You have nothing but nothing. Isaac Newton thankfully posited that the earth was exactly 6,000 years of age. Thanks, Isaac. Helping a little bit mathematically for the morons with October 23, 4004 BC. So 2020, 1656 is simple. 1666, you guys are fucking morons, and hell is really easy to remember. The biblical history of the biblical legends, you being fucking morons in hell. 1656. Reminder, you don't know any of your fucking dates authors. So the authorship of Mark is just some stupid proposed apocryphal union. 66 or 70 or 270 at 4-year range of authorship proposed. So your stupid, ignorant 4-year range of year 1666 left you in hell. 422, 2015, still spiking rare birth defects. You have encephaly. This is true because of the birth of my daughter in 96. Again, rest in peace, Kennewick man, 9,200-year-old fossil remain. Again, true. 136 million years of White Cliffs of Dover in no duh. Let's see how Mark fucked you over. And they went before and they were followed. So we'll flip the page. Volcanism, the arc of the Cascade Mountains being about 37 million years ago. However, the present day Cascade volcanoes are less than 200 million years old. The highest peaks are less than 100,000 years of age. We know that. That's obvious. And that's all you get. So Mark fucking you over again. And Jesus answered and said unto them, I will ask you one question. Answer me. And I will tell you by what authority I do these things. So you don't look for them transporting the Dead Sea Scrolls. So how old are the Rocky Mountains? They're 80 million to 55 million years of age. So Master Moses says, if a man's brother dies and leave him his wife behind and they leave no children, such as a magic proof moron. Let's go to a page. And there came a certain poor widow. And you see that it makes a lot better sense when they took God out of the book over there. And take heed to yourselves. Taking God out of the book was the most ignorant thing you could ever do. Left you in hell. And Judas Iscariot left you in hell. Past tense, future tense, Neolithic technology without writing. This is your metallurgic only Bible to be corrected in Earth history. It itself is a Stone Age legend. 6,000 years Stone Age legend. 1907 history of interpretation. 2020 we have COVID-19. We have a product of history of medieval use of the Bible we're covering. 1996 the Earth legend of interpretation fell short in 2018. So 2007 is when I began doing all this work, yielding millions in the entire world and the entire fucking internet for you. Fucking took God out. Fuck! Took God out of the Bible and you prophetic, yeah, you're all brilliant. Can't figure out this fucking book. All brilliant. You have an illegit. You have an illegit. Okay. 2007 witness misuse of two whole verses. So 2016 right through 2020, I recognize the Bible to be a legend of legitimate earth history, and it is, and it's a legitimate true false messiahship. Jesus, false messiah. The first 100 years of medical records were kept on the onset administration, saw continuous drops. True messiah. Between 1850 and 1950 in Europe, the average age of a homicide. The average of a girl's first period dropped from 17 to 13 years. That's 2008 data. So we know it's down to about 10 now. We're down on that numerical coding. The average 10. 2020 at 10 years of age. Kennewick man, 9,200-year-old fossil remain here, 2020, 10 years of age in Washington State. This is the Renaissance era, 1300s, average age is 16. So 200 years ago, what's going to happen in 200 years? It'll be around 4. 1610, an anonymous Austrian author provided, the peasant girls of this country generally menstruate much later. That is true. That is true. That is true. And I witnessed in Neolithic Arizona where they don't have a problem. They have plenty of Neolithic. And my Neolithic concubine from a few years ago, her menarche pattern was she didn't bleed that often, and that's what we want. The townsfolk have usually borne several children before the peasants' girls have menstruated. So following my Neolithic Arizonian and my daughter and my dog, 1610-year legend, the false history of 2020. Your entire history is false. This meant that you have an ignorant earth history with the magic proof cult. You have This the luxury of early puberty of an ignorant church in church history. So it's not much of a luxury to have an early puberty, earlier reaching it. You're eating better, and so it's getting younger in your improving. 1610, you're not improving. You're 1611 died. Rare birth defects still spiking in 2015. 2017, birth defects a mystery, not a mystery to a Kabbalist. 9/18/2017, lucky these dates match around my birth, Kabbalist daughter's birth record. James Usher Kabbalist. Yeah, what am I? James Usher Kabbalist. Fatal birth defects stalks my Jimmy Swaggart's lookalikes, but defective. They're all Jimmy Swaggart lookalikes. Birth defects in Washington State. Washington State. Just look at Jimmy Swaggart. He's a lookalike. One small change could prevent. Yeah, closing all your cult churches. Fatal birth defects stalks because you're all immoral incompetence in hell. Washington State missing chance to fine because you're all too immoral and incompetent to use this data to collapse the Pope into. And so we're collapsing the Pope encephalate for Washington State. 1610, the lower control limit of having the Pope in power was that you're the 17 years of age in 1610, you moron. So in 1610, it was probably 27. The lower control limit, control years. And we had that confirmation. 1610, 1611, King James Apocrypha, more confirmation. Pope, you're fired. 2020, 1611, Pope, you're fired. James Usher deduced, Pope, you're fired. Birth of legend, right? H. Birth of legend. James Usher was the first Church of Ireland, Archbishop of Primate of all Ireland from between 1625 and 1656. So we have the King James Version Commission, 1604, 27 books of New Testament Apocrypha. The first printed, and that was the third time, the 1656, 1568 Bishop's Bible, from the first half of the 18th century authorized version. The most amazing thing, it's not, you guys have one verse, every verse invalidated because you used it with Jesus and 6,000 years. You invalidated it all because you used it for both. The only use of Jesus was to go and validate the tent of meeting. Deuteronomy 34. Validate. No one's ever seen God. It was prophecy of you never seen God. The title of the first edition of translation early in modern English was the Holy. So you have the 1800 Apocrypha. Everything turned out to be Apocrypha. Let's read from Mark fucked you over again. And there followed him a certain young man, fucked you over bad with that one. And the soldiers led him away, so we're getting out of hell. And Pilate marveled we could do this. How could God seal this book so tightly bound? It says in the legend. 1610 reconciliation to recognize 1611 apocryphal printing of King James Bible answered that question in full. So, hey, thanks for hanging out. I'm sorry for disturbing you. But that's where I'm at. I was correct. I was 100% correct with this little fact. The Gideon Bible, being a piece of apocryphal itself, is best to make Gideon Bible paper airplanes out of. I've always known that. I've always known this was best, and we should be limiting it to not have lick strips. And then right about right there, a little. You should have tear off spot too, so you can roll it up and then catch and then have your backside with a little your little carry pipe. You can go and roll this up. You don't need you could carry that. You could carry. This should be fixed for marijuana though. This is a good marijuana stash cap. Yeah. it's good for that. I'm sure they did that a lot during the heyday of the 70s. I've seen a lot of things in these books. Tychus, I've seen 2 episodes. I've seen a lot of things in these books. We're Second Timothy. I am right there. So 3, but understanding this, that in the last days there will come times of difficulty, such as getting these things out of their numerical coding. For people will be lovers of self, which they can't stop. You're gonna have watching them bleed. Lovers of money. I don't know why they get up in the morning. Proud, arrogant, which is everyone. Abusive, disobedient to the parent. For current in Seattle, you fucking morons with your grade 8 educations in Seattle. Rioting during the coronavirus. Knock it the fuck off. Ungrateful and holy pieces of shit. This said, just like that stupid magic poof cult over there. No, heartless, unappeasable, slanderous, without self-control. You're getting it. Brutal and loving and good. Brutal and loving and good. It's all. It's nothing goes together. That everything. This is a single. Don't fuck with the Kabbalistic parable because you can't understand any of it. You can't understand any of it unless you have understood it all. And it all is nothing there. It all is God and Moses face to face. It all. There's nothing here. But don't lose God and Moses face to face. It's a nice catch. All right. So reconciliation. I was debating what did I want to see next. I wasn't quite sure. All right. Thanks for hanging. I'm gonna go do something less useful. This is just labor.